again, right now, 9:15, 9:18, excuse me, Carolina lead here, 10 Tampa Bay, alongside Dave Wagner. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins, who's been working through this for, how many days are we on? As we prepare ahead,
we measure in weeks now. Now we're up to weeks at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of it, I will be honest with you, a lot of it the last week has been, I want to say it's more worry because it's more of an unknown with the forecast track. Now we're at the point where we pretty much know where it's going to go, and it actually looks a little bit better for us. So this is a little bit better part of that aspect of it. You guys, can we start at weather 2 for one graphic, and then we'll switch it back over? Thank you very much. Because I wanted to point out where that tornado watch is. That's the box. It's a long one. Right, but we know this is coming north and then eventually north-northeast, and so it's going to take these rain bands that you see here, and there's another one forming right in there. You see that? Those will be continuing to rotate through the area, and of course the coastal areas especially. Eastern Polk County is not even in this, right? Because there's a chance, but there's better chance along the coast. All right, let's jump back over to Weather 1. Thank you very much. Let's do a radar roundup here because now we're finally seeing some rainfall, and you can see Pasco County, Trinity, just now starting to see some. Newport, Ritchie, those areas. But bottom line, most of it is actually in the Pinellas area and starting now western and northwestern parts of Hillsborough. And most of this is light rain, but you can see some of these yellows. It's pretty heavy downpours. And tropical downpours are just the raindrops are even bigger, right? And there's a lot more of it because there's so much more moisture from the ground all the way up to make rain and make storms, and that's why it can be heavy at times. So Tarpon Springs, Lake Tarpon, get over to the Eagles, get down towards, there's Tampa Road right in there. Carrollwood, just starting to see some of the showers. Oldsmar, Safety Harbor, definitely seeing some heavy rainfall now. None of this is severe as far as tornadoes at this point. I don't see any rotation in any of this. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's just heavy rainfall. The issue with this rain is that some areas, because we're getting so much rain so quickly, some areas will see some flash flooding. Okay, and that's what we want to watch for. That means if it's a normal area that floods, when you get a heavy downpour in the summertime, watch it because there's a possibility that this happens at this particular point here. The entire county now seeing pretty heavy rainfall that goes all the way down to the beaches from Tierra Verde and all the way up to Clearwater and Dunedin right now. Downtown Tampa seeing some rain literally just over downtown. Right now, you get to the east out to Brandon, it's not raining yet. South Tampa looking at some very heavy rainfall, Rocky Point as well too. Further down the line here, let's go over to Anna Maria Island. You, through Longboat Key, have the heavier storms coming through. These are especially the cells that we're going to watch for rotation. All right, but they have been weakening as they spread out, and I think this line will do the same thing. But later this evening, especially from Longboat Key northward, we'll see another one come through. That's a little bit closer to us, and that'll hold together, and we'll have some heavier thunderstorms coming through with that. This is all heavy rainfall. That's it. All the way out to Oak Knoll, down to Verna, over to Sarasota, and down towards Gulf Gate Estates, and even towards Venice as well. Down to Port Charlotte and Northport, those areas are fine, but right at the coast, that's where we've got this thunderstorm out near Inglewood. That could be producing a tornado. We'll have to watch for it. I still haven't seen any rotation out of it, but that's the type of cell that I would think that would have a better chance of doing it. And you can see how that line goes all the way up and down the coast here. And you can also see the secondary line that's forming out here. Now, rainfall. Really 2 or 3 if that main rain bands have come through this afternoon all the way up through Orlando, and that's what you're seeing these rainfall totals. This is what we call QPF, is the amount of moisture that's falling, amount of rain that's falling, and it's estimated by the radar. Look how much is falling offshore, and we're starting to pile it up here along the immediate coast. And certainly that's where we will get the most rainfall. 1/2 inch in Sarasota. You know, you think of a hurricane, right? That's not a big deal, but we're just getting started with it. 0.2 inches in St. Pete, 1/2 inch out in southeastern Hillsborough County. But if you look over at Port Charlotte, 2.5 inches. A couple of these blue spots in here in Polk County, 1 to almost 3 inches. And that was just from the initial wave that came through earlier. There's the eye wall on our radar. Look at the little thunderstorms right in there as well, too. This thing is still strengthening. 105 mile per hour winds. 105 mile per hour winds, the hurricane force winds, they go from the center out about 50 miles. That's it. No, actually, they go out 25 miles, But what that means, most of that's on the east side. So what that means is only a swath of about 50 miles, and probably less than that, that has hurricane force winds in it right now. That will get bigger a little bit, not a whole lot. It will not reach us, okay? What is it, guys? It's 160 miles out, I think, is what the tropical storm force winds are. And this is about 120 miles. I think I put that on there. Yeah, it's about 120 miles from Sarasota right now. So this line right here is really kind of marking the edge of the tropical storm force winds. You're going to see more winds kind of sustained in the upper 20s and lower 30s with those gusts over in the 40s. We've already seen those, but they're going to go up just a little bit. You can see, look how much more rain we have now on the west side. Some of this is a product of the radar not seeing that far out, but other than that is like it's just growing. It's getting a little bit better organized as it continues to increase the intensity of the winds as well. So we'll watch for more of this to come through. We're kind of getting more into that typical hurricane coverage where it's actually raining and the winds are starting to pick up. Each one of these bands that comes through will bring a little bit higher wind gusts. Still looking at those 40 to 45 mile per hour gusts that we saw earlier. This is from the initial line, but this is about to change. And the overall wind, these small arrows you see here, still out of the southeast, which helps blow water offshore, right? You may actually have a little bit more water up in Safety Harbor and Oldsmar right now, but this is not a surge wind. This blows the water out. That's going to change overnight tonight. So it's been a slow start to this, and it's been a decent start so far. We haven't had too many issues, but I think that's all going to change as we get past midnight. I feel better now about limiting the effects that we'll get here in the Tampa Bay area. If you look at some of the wind forecasts, look at this. This is for Clearwater, and I picked this because it's closer to the coast, but sustained winds later tonight in the upper 40s to low 50s, it drops it down, and all the models have done it. It's in between some rain bands. And then on the back side, as the winds turn to the south and the southwest, the winds start to come back up just a little bit. This is our surge, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning as the storm goes by. Here's a look at the winds just a little bit here. Let me get out of the way, and you can see what we expect for sustained winds as we go through the overnight hours. This is about now, and we're seeing winds generally in the 20s. But as we get past about midnight or so, 20s and 30s, coastal sections looking at 30s, close to 40. And then we get into 4 in the morning. Notice the colors on the right-hand side of your screen. You see how the greens are I-75 westward? Obviously, that's where we'll get the most wind, but that's where they start to pick up. And then notice the wind arrows. St. Pete, by 4 in the morning, south-southwest. Same thing with Palm Harbor. All those coastal sections are seeing it. And then by 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, we've got southwest winds. Not terrible winds. Look, 30s to near 40. Barely tropical storm force, but there will be gusts in the 40s and 50s. And that is the wind that will be blowing the water onshore for the surge. And again, that's going to start before sunrise tomorrow morning. Now, this go out at 11 in the morning. Yeah, we still have these southwest winds, right? But they're really coming down. And so by mid to late morning, this is 11 o'clock, I think by about that time, the water will really start to drop down just a little bit. And then the rest of the afternoon is breezy, and we have partly cloudy skies. So we'll get through all this. Here's the timing of the forecast model. Midnight, almost due west of Pinellas County. That's when we'll start to see the winds turn more to the south. 3 o'clock, as I just showed you, more towards the southwest. Look at all this heavy rain, especially Pinellas northward. And then that's going to rotate up, especially in towards the Big Bend area. But this is what we watch for our weather. It's these bands. And these bands generally can put down very heavy downpours. But once the center gets north of you, you're out of that, what we call that northeast quadrant, right? So the tornado threat will be dropping after about midnight. We will keep that chance because even despite the fact that the northeast quadrant's gone, it's not in our neck of the woods by 4 in the morning, these cells can produce tornadoes. The NCEP, Storm Prediction Center, they issue the tornado watch. They are saying, let's keep it going through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, right? And watch, let me take this out through that time period. There's 6:30. You still have some of these. This area will really be the chance for the tornadoes by that particular point. So that's the onset of all of this. This also, by the way, if you notice, is 6:30 in the morning. There's landfall somewhere right in there if this model holds up and is right. And then gradually, guys, as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow, winds will come down. We'll actually get some sunshine out, believe it or not, and we'll start cleaning up It's going to be a lot of limbs more than anything else, that kind of stuff. But the storm surge numbers are still forecast around 4 to 6. I'll go over that coming up in just a little bit. But the latest product that we just got from the Hurricane Center about an hour ago, as far as how much surge, and I can show you that on the map, that has come down. That is great news. But some of us will see some, and I'll show you coming up.
All right, particularly to the north, right, Bobby? That is the worst of
Yes.
it. All right.